Libya's political crisis has once again returned to the center of regional diplomacy. In Cairo, foreign ministers of Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia gathered as part of the tripartite meeting of Libya's neighboring countries mechanism, alongside the special representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Libya. The meeting comes at a critical moment for Libya, where political divisions persist, armed groups remain active, and efforts to organize presidential and parliamentary elections continue to face major obstacles. The Libyan Presidential Council welcomed the final communiqué of the summit, describing it as a reaffirmation of a principle long defended by Tripoli. Any political solution must remain Libyan-owned and Libyan-led, with international actors playing a supporting rather than directive role. At the same time, Libya's representative to the United Nations announced renewed efforts to dismantle armed groups or armed factions operating outside state authority and to pursue accountability for crimes committed during years of instability and conflict. The regional initiative led by Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia reflects growing concern among Libya's neighbors that prolonged instability threatens not only Libya itself, but the wider security and political balance across North Africa and the Mediterranean. Welcome to this special coverage. Ahead of our discussion, here is a closer look at the ministerial meeting of Libya's neighboring countries, which brought together Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia to reaffirm their support for a comprehensive political solution to the Libyan crisis, stressing the need to unify state institutions and pave the way for presidential and parliamentary elections that fulfill the Libyan people's aspirations for stability and development. The full details with Miriam Zian.
In a renewed effort to help end Libya's prolonged crisis, the neighboring countries mechanism once again called on all Libyan parties to engage in inclusive dialogue centered on the interests of the Libyan people. Following earlier meetings held in Algeria and Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia renewed their call from Cairo, highlighting the strong historical ties and shared destiny linking the three countries to Libya. They stressed that protecting Libya's unity, sovereignty and national resources depends on reaching consensus through a fully Libyan-led political process involving all parties. The tripartite mechanism of Libya's neighboring countries, an initiative proposed by Algeria as part of its continued efforts to support stability in Libya, also stressed the importance of dialogue free from foreign interference, noting that outside involvement has only deepened the crisis and hindered political settlement efforts for years. A Libyan-led solution remains the cornerstone of the initiative. The three countries underlined the urgent need for a comprehensive political settlement under UN auspices and with the participation of all Libyan stakeholders. They said such a process should help end political divisions, reunify state institutions, and create the conditions needed for simultaneous presidential and parliamentary elections that reflect the aspirations of the Libyan people. The three neighboring states among the countries most directly affected by developments in Libya also renewed their call for the withdrawal of all foreign forces, foreign fighters and mercenaries from Libyan territory, stressing that ending outside interference is essential to any lasting solution. Algeria has long defended this position in line with UN and African efforts that view a stable and united Libya as a key pillar of regional security and development across Africa.
And to help us analyze these developments and what they could mean for Libya and the broader region, we have the honor to welcome with us two distinguished guests. First, we have Mr. Mustafa Ragab, his director of the Egyptian House London and chair of the Egyptian Federation in Europe, joining us from London. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation.
Pleasure.
And from New York, we are also joined by Dr. Mohammed Chris Sassi. He's a geopolitical analyst and financial expert. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invite and for being with us.
Always my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. So my first question goes to Mr. Mustafa Ragab. So Mr. Mustafa, in what way this genuine regional consensus in Cairo is likely to shape Libya's future?
In fact, this meeting came in a crucial time because it is very clear that the situation in Libya threatened the national security for the whole area, for the whole region. And the three countries that got together to discuss this issue are the three countries who may suffer from that situation. So we're looking at a situation there that has been going for a long time. But if this meeting happened today, we always say it's better late than never, because Libya needs some stability now. It's been suffering, it's been going for inside war, different groups fighting for the power. But we cannot carry on seeing this happening in Libya, because it's not to anybody's advantage. Libya is a country that is full of natural resources that can make it one of the richest countries in the region, but the foreign interference have stopped the Libyan people from enjoying that and have contributed to make the situation worse and worse. So if we manage to get the Libyan people to sit together and have a dialogue and agree to some timetable for stability and elections that guarantee to the country to have a government being elected by the Libyan people, that will be an excellent thing to happen. But we just had a meeting. Action is needed to follow to implement what came in that meeting, what the outcome of this meeting. We can have meetings and meetings, and unless we have some action to follow these meetings, it's like those meetings mean nothing.
Indeed.
And I can see that the Libyan people and the countries in the region are very interested, because it works to everybody's interest, to the national security for Libya and the national security for the neighboring country. So we should all look forward for this meeting to have some positive results and achieve the aim of that meeting.
So it's for the regional interests. Here I ask this question to Mohammed Kristasi. How do you see, or how does or do regional initiatives complement the role of the United Nations in Libya? So how does or do all these initiatives complement the role of the UN and all UN organizations?
Well, regarding the UN, I think they're trying many times to at least to have kind of peace, not peace, to have at least fighting to stop the fighting among them. As my predecessor said from Egypt, what is taking place now is not only because of the UN. They tried, but they didn't succeed. Now, the other country in the region, as my predecessor was saying, is, this was taking place since 2011. And you have the border security for Egypt, for Tunisia, from Algeria. And, as my predecessor was saying also, we have to look at this meeting, that we are going to really look frankly at the problem that is existing, as I said, since 2011. But it's not only for Libya. Now it's spreading. Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, the Sahel region, and all this because you have a foreign domination of Libya, and I don't want to see them, but I'm sure we can talk about them later. You have Egypt, not Egypt, I'm sorry, you have Turkey, you have the GCC country, you have Russia, you even have America now that is supporting a group of to nourish all this secession within the country. And that we cannot ignore this kind of situation. Even when you said you have the UN, then the UN, they were trying to, as I said, back a political settlement, but it was impossible because of, and it's still impossible because of non-national recognition in Libya. Is not, you have not a unified institution, and this is where the difficulty is erecting
Mr.
more
Chris
and more.
Mohammed Sassi, Algeria at this point has always reminded that maybe the necessity of these armed groups and these mercenaries to withdraw for the security of Libya and for its stability?
Well, you have to understand that Algeria, Libya is not just a neighboring country. This is a strategic security border on Algeria eastern frontier. That's why Algeria is very concerned and sensitive about the foreign influence that we have inside Libya right now, especially when the influence comes from states that not very friendly with Algeria, and they consider Algeria like a rival for the geopolitics. They are very unfriendly. And of course, now Libya is not only for Libya, it become a problem for Algeria, for the security of Algeria. And this is a non-negotiable situation. We have to act upon it. And a friendly country like Egypt, this is a broader country. They are trying also, they understand it, but we are on the front line for this. And Algeria doctrine always been an opposition to foreign military intervention, but you have it right now in Libya, and we cannot accept that because now our sovereignty is going to be in danger because of this interference. And we have also, again and again, always, don't forget that Sarkozy is not...
Yeah, so speaking about the Libyan crisis in this context, Algeria, as I said, has also called on the non-interference in Libya's internal affairs, but also to African solutions to African issues and problems. So I go back to you, Mr. Mustafa Ragab. Mr. Mustafa Ragab, the final communiqué emphasized Libyan ownership of the political process. So why has this principle become increasingly important?
Well, it is very, very important. And let me talk to you from the Egyptian view of this conflict. Egypt are always having a leading role in stability in the Middle East and the neighboring countries. And that goes also to the advantage of Egypt, who are surrounding now with problems from the east, the west, and the south, and all directions. All the Egyptian borders are surrounded with these issues. And if we can resolve one of them, that will give us some rest or some peace of mind. One less problem is better for us because we're really fighting in a lot of front lines here, and one less will be better for us. And also for the relationship between Egypt and Libya, and what has been going on for a long time between Egypt and Libya, and the Egyptian people working in Libya, and the Libyan country is benefiting from Egypt. This relationship has been suffering from this war or this interference with the foreign troops in Libya, and everybody is just trying to have their influence. And if we can get rid of that, if we can manage to withdraw all these foreign powers from Libya, that will help us to do something. It's got to go in stages. Stage number one, we have to get rid of all these foreign people in Libya, and then let the Libyan people decide for themselves, and let the Libyan people who are disputing or fighting together to sit together and have a solution for the sake of Libya and the Libyan people who've been suffering. Libya is a country, as I said, has got huge resources, national resources, that can be one of the richest countries and can benefit all the neighboring countries. So if we can achieve this, that will be wonderful for Algeria, Tunisia, and Egypt, especially those three countries, because they are the countries who have borders with Libya, and any unrest in Libya will affect those three countries. So as I said, this meeting came in a crucial time, and it's better to come later than never, because it's really needed. It is needed badly now. It's been going on for a long time, affected the economy in Libya, affected the stability in Libya, affected the infrastructure in Libya, affected the Libyan people. Everything has been suffering. So if those three countries who are really interested now for their own interest as well,
Yes.
it's for all of us, not just
So
for
it's
one
not
country.
only for Libya.
And this is.
So it's not only for Libya, but for the whole region, for the interests of the whole region.
And you cannot wait for the United Nations or any international resources to resolve this issue. It's a local issue. It has to be solved by the local people who are interested to really solve this issue. If you wait for the others, you can wait forever. So I'm glad to see those three neighboring countries coming together to try and find a solution for this Libyan conflict.
Yes, and as we have mentioned at the very beginning, the Libyan Presidential Council welcomed the initiative or welcomed the final communique of the summit. So
that is very encouraging.
Yes, Mohammed Krissassi, I go back to Mr. Mohammed Krissassi. So here, how can the renewed coordination between Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia on the Libyan file be interpreted in the current regional context, and how can it strengthen this context?
I think we don't have choice. As my predecessor was saying, I'm going to quote him, we have to sit down and stop the main thing, which is the external intervention. As long as we don't succeed ourselves, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, to negotiate a peace, to help the Libyan negotiating a peace, is not going to hand whatever we are going to say right now.
Yeah.
And this have to be said clearly. Only us, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, can make it happen. The UN didn't do anything since 2011. European, we know, they initiate this with Sarkozy, as I was saying before.
Yes.
And now it's time, and specifically now, again and again, Libya, we have also another problem, I should not say another problem, because of the threat of Hormuz. Because of the difficulty now to have all this approvisionment of oil for other countries like China, Libya is also an oil producer.
For energy resources.
And, yes, and this also is affecting us, Algeria, Egypt and Tunisia. Why? Because they don't want us to be the owner of our geostrategic position. They want to interfere, and they are trying to do it at the moment where I'm talking to you. And here I'm naming the United States of America. I'm naming the Turkey. I'm naming GCC. And this is why, again, I insist, you have to understand that it's not question of the security and the peace for Libya, is also for the regional situation that we are facing right now. We can name also the problem of the Sahel is related to southern Libya. And this, we have really to look at it and do something among us, Algeria, Tunisia, and Egypt, because we cannot sustain to have all this going on, specifically, as I said, with the new element of the Threat of Hormuz, without saying anything. And I'm sure that, Egypt, we have a very good relationship with Egypt. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs is there right now, is always been very friendly. And we have to put hand to hand our not only policy among us, but also go to the international scene and say, we are not going to let it happen anymore. We have to stop.
Yes. So you spoke about energy, the energy sector, and the production of oil. So economically speaking, Libya is a big player in this context. So I go back to you, Mr. Mustafa Ragab. How can regional partnerships contribute between Algeria, Egypt, Tunisia, contribute to Libya's reconstruction efforts and also institutional development?
Right, I can tell you, if Egypt wasn't suffering on a few fronts, not just one front, it will be able to play a bigger and much stronger role in Libya. But don't forget that we have the West and the South and the East. The front lines are so many for Egypt to deal with. But of course, Libya has always been a great help for Egypt in the past. And the relationship between Egypt and Libya were great, whether it is in economy or import and export and labors. They were great trade between Libya and Egypt. And Libya was a big support for Egypt. So we need Libya to come back and become the old Libya, the Libya that we've seen in the past. So we'll have to do and work and do everything that we can do to help Libya to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that our foreign minister is doing a lot of work behind the scene in order to achieve that. He is a very active man, moving around quite a lot these days and trying to do his best. And I'm sure that they can achieve something to bring Libya back to the old Libya, the green Libya, the Libya that used to have a lot of laborers from Egypt and helped to develop the economy in Egypt and between Libya and Egypt. So Egypt can play a bigger role if it wasn't suffering from these other issues in the Egyptian borders. And don't forget, we have the biggest threat there in the north with Gaza and Israel. And we're just trying to play it as safe as we can. They're trying to bring Egypt to war, but I'm glad that our government have managed to keep away from this, because we cannot afford to go into another war. And Libya has been in a situation now that needs a lot of help and a lot of support. And I'm sure that Egypt can give that support with the neighboring Tunisia and Algeria. If we get together, those three countries, they can achieve a hell of a lot for Libya rather than depending on an international country, because those countries will not help unless they can get something out of it. It's all about deals. But Tunisia, Algeria, and Egypt is about security, is about safety, it's not about deals. They are not looking for deals, they're looking for security, and they're looking to secure their borders, and they're looking to see Libya coming back as the old Libya that we used to have a lot of good deals with them and a lot of good work happening with Libya and the Libyan government. And we can see what happened in Libya. Why did it happen? We can see, and we have to help Libya to come
Algeria,
back
Egypt, and Tunisia are prevailing. Algeria, Egypt, and Tunisia are prevailing their neighbors' interests over any economic interests. So here, Mr. Mohammed Kristasi, you mentioned the current international context. Speaking of the war between the U.S. and Iran. The global markets which were shaken due to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And we mentioned Libya, which is a big producer of energy and a very important player in the international context. So how important is economic recovery for supporting stability and for supporting development efforts in the context in this neighboring country, in Libya?
Well, as I said, the Strait of Hormuz matter is a chance for Libya to come back economically. But again and again, to get this the gain, Libya export crude directly through the Mediterranean, for example. That's one issue that can stabilize the economy of the country. And we don't have, as I said, the problem that for the how do you call it, the supply in Europe. But the problem is within Egypt, within Libya. The fight that they have, the oil company, the main oil company in Libya is owned by the son of the general that is in charge right now. And this again and again is going to be an issue economically, because Libya, I'm going to repeat what I was saying, the security of Libya now is not only because of Libya problem, it's going to spread to us, specifically to Algeria. And I repeat myself, even if I have to repeat it 10 times. Now we have to take care of the problem of Libya. Economically, they can go back to their, stability, but you have to have a normality for the security, which means you have to have the constant territory, you have to have the peace among the different factions. And this only Egypt, Tunisia, and Algeria can put pressure on the external force that are right now in Libya, and we don't have to hide the forest with the tree. That's the real problem. And don't forget, as my colleague was saying, in Egypt, they have the problem of the north. We have the problem of the south of Libya, because of the Sahel border. And at that time, you know what was going on, and it was, because of the border that you have, and it was very, very question of security for us. And for me, my priority, yes, is the stability of Libya, and I have to find that stability. We have to have the tripartite, have to find a way to put this stability to stop all this spreading of the insecurity. And it is insecurity right now, not only for Egypt or Tunisia, but specifically for Algeria on the south border.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Mohamed Krissesi. You joined us from New York. I also thank Mr. Ragab, who joined us from London. So we have to leave it here for now. Tonight's discussion highlighted actually the ongoing regional efforts regarding the Libyan file, also where political security, regional factors remain closely linked, while regional cooperation also continues through coordination initiatives. The coming period will also help in emphasizing, and also this coming period will help further assess the impact of ongoing diplomatic coordination and its role in supporting Libya's national efforts towards stability, while also contributing to broader regional and international engagement on the Libyan file. So I thank my guests. We have to leave it here for now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention. See you next week.